Hi guys, just want to say hey. Today's topic is going to be a little more heavy. Typically I'm a very high vibe, high energy, let's make anything and everything in a positive way, kind of thing. And that's still kind of my goal, but unfortunately sometimes our topics are a little on the heavier side. And so there's something that still needs to be talked about so people can get help. But on this topic, we're going to kind of talk about a little bit of mental health, but also what's causing it and how it's affecting mankind. And so part of it I'm going to kind of talk about, part of it I will read, just because some of it is part that's partially in a German language, so it's a little difficult for me to just kind of to read offhand. But what we're going to kind of start off with is kind of misunderstanding and pretty much in the religion aspect, where we can kind of show you that it's not a misunderstanding and it's not an evil purpose, but also how it affects mankind, and it actually is a very big purpose to us. And so again, it's just a misunderstanding, but through your body you have the central nervous system, and then you have a peripheral nervous system. In the central nervous system you have 7 major energy centers, and that starts at your base of your tailbone at the coccyx and kind of moves up to the uterus or between the hip area. From there it kind of moves to what we call the navel, or solar plexus. From there we kind of go up to the heart. From there we go up to the throat chakra. From there we go up to the 6th one, which is your third eye. And then from there we have our last one at the top of the head, which is your cranial. All of these are located in major organ areas, and so, or bone areas, but that affect the major body, the whole central nervous system. So with these, kind of starts with the base of the tailbone. We call it the Roots Chakra. This one is the root cause of all karmic patterns, bad behavior, things in life that we just absorbed and learned at an area that we were not available to understand yet. And so a lot of these are trauma, again, karmic patterns, this lifetime and then even previous lifetimes. These are all situations and things that have tacked onto your soul blueprint. And so a lot of times with anger, frustration, sometimes the personality disorders, these all stem from things that sometimes we don't even understand. It's an energy that has affected us, and again, karmic patterns that are some not in this lifetime, so we're angry at life for things we don't even understand. So these are very much can be helped and fixed. From there we have the uterus area, which is what we call your sacral. Your sacral is going to release any kind of toxic energy. And so with that, that can be inside, outside, pretty much anywhere around you. That can be energy like mood, spiritual, entities around you. That could be toxic as far as diseases and illnesses. So anything toxic at all can be eliminated from the sacral or the second energy center, which is, like I said, in the uterus area. From there we kind of talked about the solar plexus or the navel. This is where all your digestion, your survival mode, anxiety, a lot of these things, emotional relationship, transition, these are all the things that kind of happen there. From there we kind of move up to the heart. This is where self-worth, jealousy, envy, a lot of narcissism, angry. This energy center is blocked too, so this is where this kind of comes in. From there, we have the throat chakra. Throat chakra is located in the thymus, and so the thymus or the throat chakra is pretty much when you are unable to speak your truth, and so it's something that gives you confidence, allows you to just communicate better in your relationships and just your life. But again, your thymus, thyroid conditions, throat cancer, things like that, it kind of stimulates that area. From there you have your third eye, which is, located between the eye. It's connected to your pineal gland, and so this is what creates, it's basically like a projector screen or your TV. You can project or, make a picture of anything that's going on in your mind. And so what you project out is what's going on in your mind. So this is where, religious comes in and kind of says it's confusing. It might be witchcraft, might be evil. Well, it's all what you're thinking in your mind. So you can either project good and God, or you can project evil. And so that's totally case-to-case basis, and whether your third eye is blocked or not. When you have it cleared and more calibrated to your heart, you display God and love and energy. And so you also get your clairvoyance, your wisdom, your intuition, all by infinity. That's where it all comes in. So your third eye is actually a very important energy center, but just needs to be calibrated correctly to the heart center. From there, you have your last one, which is your 7th chakra. This is your cranial, or your crown. And this is where you actually receive downloads from God, from Jesus, from whatever your spiritual ancestors, anybody that gives you your upper self, higher self, however you want to put it. This is where you receive your downloads, and so you get your intuition and your wisdom. And so every one of these are very important. Through your 7 energy centers, the one that is misunderstood the most, which of course is the third eye, this is the one that right now is actually creating all the health problems, the suicides, school and public shootings, everywhere, theaters, grocery stores. These are all a crisis. Well, these are all caused from being controlled, we call it conformity, through your third eye energy center by a radio frequency. And so the reason why we kind of went through these is because a lot of your energy centers have to do with your physical health, and a lot of it has to do with, of course, your emotional health too, and physical. But on a conformity or a controlled matter, and when we are controlled by it, it creates all these, again, we're displaying demonic, evil, controlled things about us that are really not really us. This is where the conscious and the subconscious comes in. So on a conscious level, most people are good people. Their intentions, they are good people. Their family, they don't want to hurt people. But on a subconscious level, which is where they're being controlled by this radio frequency through the third eye, is where these major crises are coming into play. So if we can get these energy centers recalibrated to the heart, which is love, light, and energy, and of course more, that's where we can eliminate jealousy, anger. There's a lot of things that stems from our heart. And so if we can get these subconscious or these energy centers to recalibrate and clear, we can prevent a lot of world crime. This is addictions, this is trafficking, human trafficking, drug trafficking, everything. A lot of these crimes or just major ugliness in this world is caused from the subconscious being controlled by this radio frequency. And so this radio frequency is approved and used still to this day through the ISO, and that is your international standards of just, you know, your standard, just your norm, you know, what they use by it. And so the radio frequency that is used in all contemporary commercial music, so on your radio stations, in your stores, anywhere you love your music, it's all being played on this radio frequency, which is 440. And this 440 frequency that is controlling mankind, or conformity, including our world leaders, is the same frequency used by Adolf Hitler to control millions of people. And so when you look up this information, it is real. Started in 1926, I believe. That's when it was kind of introduced and started being used through the American Association. I don't believe they were aware of it. Again, this is just an energy, so they are using a radio frequency to display their music worldwide. And so when this was used, they weren't aware, and so then it was introduced to the Germans, and the Germans is what started using it also. And then it was introduced to Joseph Goebbels, which is a public speaker that for Adolf Hitler at that time, and started using it also. And so from there is when they kind of decided to start using it permanently. And so rather than a trial and kind of, you know, sending it worldwide, they decided to make it a standard. And so this is the frequency that is still used today worldwide to control mankind. And so when we can get this changed and adjusted, recalibrated from 440, the perfect mathematical frequency for humans to recalibrate or realign back to the heart is actually 432. And so if we can recalibrate this pendulum from 440 back to 432, which has been used before through the ISO, it just was more of a theory of which one's going to be better. But unfortunately, they used the one that Adolf Hitler used to control millions of people. So if we can get them to change it back to 432, we can actually harmonize mankind. And so everybody will be ran back to their heart center, which is love, light, and energy, and not be conformed by Adolf's radio frequency. So just remember, every time you walk into your grocery store and you hear the music overhead, it's called conformity. It's a brain wave frequency running. Holy smoke, that was some major lightning. There you go. That's what's controlling you. When you get in your car and you hear the radio frequency inside your car, it's called conformity. And so it's a choice, but we're going to get this switched. In the meantime, until we can get the ISO to change this frequency back to our heart center, I have a way to reharmonize it manually until we can get it done internationally. So just reach out to my Facebook page or my YouTube page, and we can get this taken care of for you. But again, we want to make this real, make it public. People need to know they're literally being conformed by a radio frequency controlled by our world leaders, and our world leaders are being conformed and controlled by this frequency. And so we are all affected, and we are all being controlled. So if we all want freedom, we all want abundance, so love, happy harmony, you know, healthy relationships, financial, you know, our shelters and our you know, just food, clean water, healthcare, you know, we can change it by one turn of a dial of a frequency. But it's going to take all of us to share this video, to get it around worldwide, to get this frequency changed. And so let's do this together so we can bring abundance to all of mankind by the change of one dial. God bless. I love you all. Good day, good night, and take care.